Hi there folks, today is the day. Today is the day where I go through all of my guitars very quickly. I will go through them very quickly. I don't want to make this too long a video, so I mean, have a guess in the comments below before you watch the video. How many guitars do I currently own? Well, the true answer to that is more than I probably need. So that's today's video. I will be going through all my guitars very quickly. I'm not sure if any of them will be in tune. I'm not going to plug them in. I may get some of the details incorrect as well, but it's just to give you a brief look at what I have now. A couple of caveats here before the video. There's still building work going on upstairs, which I think is 7 weeks, so I've spent 7 weeks trying to dodge around building work while I'm making videos. But today is a day that I've kind of set aside to do this, because this video takes quite a long time. I've not done one of these for a year. I think this is the 5th one or the 6th one that I've done. It'll be interesting to see if there's any guitars that I still have from the very first one, because you know, if you're doing YouTube stuff, I can't review the same guitar every week, so my guitar collection is constantly changing, and that's maybe just some self-justification for having all of these guitars. So yes, if you see me at any point mouthing the word F, that's because there's a lot of noise coming from upstairs, but I will continue through this video because you're probably bored already because this intro's going on a bit. So without any further ado, let's get through these guitars. So this guitar here, if I'm being perfectly honest, I could do everything I need to do live and in the studio, apart from maybe a bit of tremolo stuff. I could do all on this one guitar, which I got for free. This is a guitar that my friend gave me. This is a made in Japan Squier E-Series standard Telecaster, which obviously I've done quite a bit of work to. I've changed the pickups, relatively changed the bridge, I think the only thing I haven't changed is just the body wood, the neck, and the tuners has been refretted because I played it so much. So is there a number one guitar that I have? Well, if I had got rid of everything and I had to keep one guitar that I could do everything with, it would be this E-Series Squier Telecaster. I don't know if I said Stratocaster earlier, but I'm going to continue on. So that's it, that's guitar number one. They're in no order. An E-Series Squier Telecaster. Next up, this is my guitar fight at the OK Corral, 1979 Yamaha SG 1000, which has got a bit of wear, but it does play great. Strangely, I don't know if you've seen my original video, all the electrics worked. I got this from Japan. Wasn't a whole lot of money. My camera's not focusing again. Wasn't a whole lot of money, but it all worked. I think the only thing we had to do, the only thing my mate Mike had to do, that will be a common theme in this video. Mike has fixed a lot of my guitars. The only thing we had to do was just set it up, really. There was a bit of an issue with the neck pickup, but got that worked out. And a friend, believe it or not, a friend gave me the bridge and tailpiece from a 1979 Yamaha SG 2000 because it was very tarnished. So there it is, the guitar fight at the OK Corral. A very much loved and very much lived in Yamaha SG 1000 with coil taps or coil splits. So that's guitar number two. Guitar number three is a Fender Mustang, made in Japan in 94 or 95. Which is a T serial number, T07. Now, when I got this, I did change the bridge pickup to a Seymour Duncan, but I put the original one back in because I'm just really loving the sort of clean sounds from this. So this is all stock, I think. I think these are the pick guards that they came with. I had never played a short scale guitar until I was in Germany. My camera keeps getting out of focus. About 2 years ago. I'd never played a short scale guitar in 40 years. 24 inch scale. And I've just loved it. I've ended up with about, I think I've got 3 or 4 short scale guitars now, but I'm just loving it. I'll tell you what I really like about this, and I've seen people saying they're just rubbish, but I absolutely love the tremolo on this. I think it's my favourite trem. I don't know, it just, and I don't seem to have any tuning issues with it either. The only thing that is a pain, and it has happened in battle conditions twice on stage, is the blooming trem arm falls out, because this, you can't screw that in tightly enough. So you know, you're at the front of the stage rocking out for the kids, lean over a bit, and then the trem arm falls out, and I've not got my right glasses on. I can't find it. I'm kind of looking about the stage blindly trying to find my trem arm. So yes, I wish somebody would invent, if you know anybody who's invented a fix for this so that the trem arm doesn't just fall out, please do let me know in the comments. There you go, that's a 1990s Fender Mustang from Japan, 100% stock. Next guitar. The next guitar you've probably not even seen yet. Maybe seen it in one video where I was just doing some sound samples, but I haven't done a full video on this. This is a recent acquisition. I got this about 3 weeks ago or something like that. After talking about short scale guitars, I decided that I wanted to get, I got the Kurt Cobain Jaguar, which I love, great guitar, but I wanted something kind of more traditional, so this is a 2010 Fender Mexico Jaguar, which is a lovely guitar again, you know, short scale. I'm liking this. I like the trem on this as well. A bit stiffer than the trem on the Mustang, but it's lovely. So the previous owner, I got this on eBay, the previous owner has put creamery pickups in this, which sound brilliant. I think it's their Alt 88. I've actually used this at a couple of live gigs. No feedback and anything like that, and it just sounded really, really good. So it's like candy apple red, a few dings and stuff like that. I think the previous owner has upgraded all the wiring as well and stuff, so it's not 100% stock, but it's the same kind of idea. It's really got upgraded pickups and upgraded wiring, but there's no humbucker or anything like that. So that is a 2010 Fender Mexico Jaguar. Nice guitar. So while the Squier Japan Telecaster, my old black Telecaster, which I got for free, is probably the guitar that I could do everything on. This is my number one guitar. This is my favourite guitar. I think it may be the favourite guitar that I've ever had. This is maybe in all of my collection videos. This is a 1965 unbelievably light Gibson Melody Maker. It's brilliant, an absolutely brilliant guitar. It's got the perfect neck shape. Trolley's done a few videos on these and he says the same thing. The necks on these 65s, now I think it's early 65 because they moved to a smaller neck late on in 65. So I think late 64, early 65, the neck is just absolutely perfect. Such a good guitar. So resonant as well, probably not in tune. Close enough for rock and roll. It's great. Now the previous owner has changed the tuners out to, what are these? Clusons, I think. I don't know. Patent pending. Oh, patent pending Grover tuners. So I think all the work to this was done in, the person I bought it off 5 or 6 years ago said all the work was done in 1970. It was humbuckered. This came with T-tops, which I put in another guitar, and I put Seymour Duncan, I think that's a JB and a 59 in this. So this is just an unbelievably great playing and unbelievably resonant guitar. It really is. If you ever have the opportunity, my channel's not about trying to sell anybody anything. I'm just saying if you ever get the opportunity to try one of these, I would do, because the neck shape is brilliant. The stock pickup, now I do have one with stock pickups. Stock pickups are very thin sounding. And the good thing about these is you can still pick them up reasonably cheap if they've had a bit of work done. You know, people are looking for like pristine examples for their guitar collection. If you're looking for a beater up, a player, then you can still pick these up for a decent amount of money. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Next guitar. The next guitar is actually the only Epiphone that I own. This is an Epiphone. I think it's from 1963. It is an Epiphone Olympic. Here's a funny story. On the video that I did on this, somebody commented, said a new low in Epiphone quality or something like that. These guitars are rubbish. And I was like, a new low in Epiphone? This is from 1963, which just goes to show you, you know, people click on videos, don't watch it, and just immediately comment whatever's in their head at that point in time. So yes, this was a new low in Epiphone, according to this commenter, in 1963. Because this was made in Kalamazoo, it was made in the Gibson factory, it was made by Gibson employees on exactly the same line as their melody makers were made. This is, say, 63 double cut melody makers. Another one. Neck shape on this, really good as well. Maybe 63, 64 into early 65 is the best, in my humble opinion, for me anyway, the best melody maker shapes. What have I done to this? This is all original. I think there's a new nut been put on it. Now when I got this, the pick guard, my mate Mike has fixed this. The pickguard was all caved in here, so it's like somebody had stood on the lead, smashed all this in, so he's put a bit of metal behind the pickguard scratch plate, and that's sort of helped that. I haven't done any work to put this pick, Mike hasn't done any work to put this pickup in. It's a Seymour Duncan JB. It fits in, and he hasn't routed anything out, so this is just fitting in the original pickguard and it's screwed direct into the body. I have the original single coil pickup and all the original electrics as well. I did get this new, I can't remember who made this bridge, made in Germany. I think these are quite expensive, £160 for a bridge or something. But it does now intonate, because these guitars were made at a time where nobody had a plain G string, everybody had a wound G string. So the original tailpiece does not intonate correctly. It has had a tremolo, I can't remember, tremolo tone, which I've seen on a few of these guitars. Cracking, it's a cracking guitar. Oh, it really is. I shock myself sometimes with these horrible jokes. So there you go, it's a 1963 Epiphone Olympic, made in Kalamazoo, Michigan. It was a new low in Epiphones, allegedly. This is a Squier, you can probably recognise this, a Squier J Mascis Jazzmaster. Beautiful guitar. One of the best value guitars out there. Again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you want one of these, you can go get one. If you don't go get one. I love this. It's great. I know that people comment that the P90s in this, because these are effectively P90 pickups, are not traditional Jazzmaster sounding, and I absolutely agree. But I prefer these. I prefer the sound of these. It suits my playing a lot better. Not a short scale guitar, so a traditional Fender 25.5. So I haven't done anything to this apart from play it. Great guitar. This is one of the later ones. It does not have a rosewood fingerboard. It has an Indian laurel fingerboard. Would I prefer a rosewood fingerboard? I think just because I'm more of a traditionalist, but does it feel any better? I don't know. But it's a nice guitar. Really nice guitar. I think these are, I don't know, these £500 now. Almost in tune. So there you go, a Squier J Mascis Jazzmaster. Next up. Now, despite owning quite a few short scale guitars, which have quite small necks, this guitar has the smallest neck of any that I own. This has like a super slim nut width. It's a 1972 Gibson SG Deluxe. Now I think this all original. It's got got Gibson tuners, but I think they're Grover with Gibson stamps on them, tuners, but the nut width is absolutely minuscule. So I've had this refretted. The frets on this, like Gibson frets from this era, were so flat. I couldn't play it, to be honest. Well, couldn't play any better than I normally play. So I've had it refretted. This is a replacement bridge. The bridge it was on, it was very tarnished. All the electrics. I've put a vibramate on it. If any of you out there own a Bigsby, I mean, I would invest in a vibramate. It just makes so much difference when you're restringing. This is a Gibson stamped Bigsby. I think these were only available 72, and same with the Gibson stamped humbuckers on the SGs, I believe 72, maybe some later ones on Les Paul Customs. Now there is one thing about this, it does not stay in tune. I mean, it's maybe not even in tune to begin with. That's not bad. But this trem, I don't know if it just needs set up. I mean, I've had this guitar professionally set up and stuff, but I think it's just a Bigsby that won't stay in tune. I could get a roller bridge, I suppose, but these T-tops sound absolutely brilliant. This is probably the best sounding, certainly the best sounding neck pickup. Just proved myself wrong, that almost stayed in tune. So there you go, that's a 1972 Gibson SG Deluxe. And also in the red corner, we have one from a couple of years later. This is 1974, a 1974 SG Special with mini humbuckers. This is a great guitar. It's got a big harmonica bridge. It's very bitey. These mini humbuckers are very bitey. They've got a kind of unique tone to them. I think more kind of Telecaster-y than Les Paul-y. The neck on this is a bigger shape than the one I just showed you, the 72. It's quite deep. It's about the same width, but it feels bigger because it's more of a sort of D shape. I never quite understand people saying, oh, is that a C shape or a D shape? I don't know, it's just a better shape or not a good shape. So this is a just a better shape of neck to me. 74 SG Special, did I say? All original apart from the tuners, which have been changed to Wilkinson Deluxe tuners. It does stay in tune really well. I really like it. It's a good guitar if I'm sitting learning songs, you know, if I'm trying to learn something for a lesson, like a Molly Hatchet song. Not in tune. Just to sit and learn a song. It's good to just sit and play. Great guitar. So that's a 1974 Gibson SG Special. Next up, also in the red corner, is an Orville LPS 75, I think. Now, what year is this from? 94 or something. Can't remember, 94 or 95. It's another lovely guitar. Neck shape on this is good. Now, this one, when I got it for a really good price. I imported it from Japan, and I got it for a good price because it was originally tobacco sunburst, which is my favourite colour of Les Pauls. I love tobacco sunburst Les Pauls. It was completely trash. Somebody had like gouged initials into it, and they had like stubbed cigarettes and matches. It was, you know, and I'll bleep this, but it was fucked. And what I did when I got this, I took it to a local luthier, Chris McIntyre, who has done an unbelievable job. He just redid the top for me. Now, it's not cheap getting this done professionally, but it was worth it for what I'd already invested in this guitar. It wasn't a whole lot of money. It's ended up brilliant. This is Cardinal Red. I got this from a 1960s Gibson catalogue. I think this is the colour that they did their 60s Firebirds in, Cardinal Red. It's the original neck pickup, and in the bridge it's a Tone Rider rock song, I think it is, which is like a higher output pickup. Camera not focusing. Higher output bridge pickup, which sounds great. It's a rocker, it's a roller, it's a right out of controller. So there you go, that's your 1990s Orville, which is a officially licensed Japanese manufactured Les Paul. I think this is Fujigen made, pretty sure. So there you go. Next up. Now, if I had to start another channel called Dunsy's Bass World, I would only have one entry. This is it. This is the only bass I own. It's a Greco. This is one of their cheaper ones, a TVB 45, I think. Made in Japan, boat on neck. Absolutely trashed. I think it used to be pink at one point. Probably can't get the full glory of just how bad that is. Now, that is an EMG guitar pickup, but the good news is it's not wired in. I just put it in there because this only came with one pickup and it looked a bit funny. I've never really got around to doing anything with this. I need to get another pickup. This just hangs out there and generally annoys me when I'm recording, but this has been used to record every song on my channel, and I think an album worth of material as well, over the last 4 or 5 years. This is a bass I've used apart from a couple when I got a loan of the old Shaftesbury Ricky copy. This is the bass that I use. And it's great, you know. I think I paid £90 for this after delivery from Japan, maybe about 120 quid or something like that. This is my £120 Japanese bass. It could probably do with getting fixed up, but if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Next up, this is another Squier. I've got a few Squier guitars. I like Squier stuff. This is a Squier Vista Series Jag Master, like a cross between a Jazz Master and something else. It's nice. Humbuckers. So these are made in Japan. It has small pots, which I found quite strange. Small pots, I believe it's all original. Fender stamp tuner and stuff like that. And the original Vista series was, I believe, made by Fujigen. This was like a 3-piece body underneath all that stuff. So this is like a short scale guitar. I mean, it is a short scale guitar. It's not just like it is an actual short scale guitar. This is nice. So I haven't put the tremolo on it. It's just lying here for some bizarre reason. I like this one. Done a few gigs with this one as well. Pickups are good. Pickups sound very sort of clear. It's been good. Enjoy playing on something sort of slimmer or smaller feeling neck than some of my other guitars, but comfortable enough for me to gig with and rehearse with. I'm rehearsing tonight and maybe take this one. I haven't decided yet. So that is, what year is it from? Can't remember. There's a serial number. Serial number is an A serial number. You can maybe fact check that. I'm not sure when it's from. Were these from the late 90s or early 90s? I don't know. But anyway, it's your Squier Jag Master. Like, so it's between a Jazz Master and a Jaguar. I think I got that right. Next up, now this is just in. I'm not going to give you too many details about this because I'm going to be doing a full video on it later, but I showed you the black Squier Japan Telecaster, which I call the Stevie Caster, because it has a Stevie Nicks hologram on the front and on the back, and it's always been known as the Stevie Caster. But I've never had a blonde friend for the Squier Japan standard Telecaster, the Stevie Caster. I have never had a blonde friend for that until this arrived last week. Give you more details on that in a future video. Next up, so this one still has my strap on because I was using this at a gig in Glasgow the other week there. 3 pickups, all the pickups, there's one louder. This is a 1977, this is a brilliant guitar, absolutely brilliant. Not as high quality as my 79 Yamaha SG1000, this is a 77 SG500, but a previous owner has professionally, or had it professionally done, put a middle pickup on this. These didn't come with 3 pickups, from a 1978 SG2000. So this is in incredible condition for a 1977 guitar, which is from Japan, because you tend to find, depending on what region in Japan it comes from, there's a lot of tarnishing on the hardware, but there's literally none on this at all. It's in such good condition. An SG500, which looks very cool. And yes, I've used this at a couple of gigs, used it at rehearsals as well. Sounds great. The middle position is the bridge, and the middle, the forward is just an egg. So the middle one is just these 2 pickups, and it sounds great. Such a good sound. So that's your 1977 Yamaha SG500. Next up is this rather nice looking guitar here. It's double cut. This is a 1981 Hamer Graphic Special. These were only made in 1981. The Graphic Specials, they were all unique, a unique design. The lady who designed them actually commented on these guitars and this one on the Hamer Facebook group. So she designed all these, every one is a one-off. I don't know how many there are. I think they've managed to, there's a chap on there who's identified, I think 33 of these. So there couldn't have been many made. I'm guessing, just a total guess here, between 50 and 100 of these Graphic Specials were ever made, only made in 1981. Now this one came to me with a home routed Kaler fitted in it. Now to be honest, the home routing was done about as well as I would have done it if I was using a blunt kitchen knife. It really wasn't very good. So my mate Mike, whose name was cropped up here before, he expertly plugged that, and I got a reverse engineered bridge from John Mann, who I think is in Pennsylvania. He custom makes these once every sort of 6 months. Not a cheap thing to get, but absolutely exactly the same as the original Hamer Sustain box. It's plain, just black on the back, and back in black. I'll get done for copyright, I better watch what I'm doing. So I like this. I was quite surprised that the neck was smaller than what I thought. I mean, it's not a tiny neck, but smaller than what I thought. I thought these were like 59 Gibson style 59 Gibson style profiles. I'm not going to edit too much of this video. 59 Gibson style profiles. It's slightly smaller than that, but it's nice. Rosewood fingerboard, a one-off design. So that's your 1981 Hamer Graphic Special. Next up is another double cut from our friends, maybe not everybody's friends, our friends at Gibson. This is a 2019, what are they called? Gibson Les Paul Special Tribute DC. I had to close my eyes to think of that there. This is the cheapest Gibson I've ever bought, and I've only bought about 3 brand new Gibson guitars. Gibson guitars, you know, people make videos about Gibson guitars being expensive, and Gibson guitars are expensive. I'm not arguing that. Most of them are out of my price range. I've owned about, I don't know, 20 or 30 Gibsons. Apart from maybe 2 or 3, I bought them all second hand because that's my price point in the market. But I bought this new and it was like super cheap. It was the last one they had in the store. I have put a DiMarzio Super Distortion in here, and this rocks. This absolutely rocks. I've used this on stage with a Mr. Henry Clooney playing a couple of my favourite Stiff Little Finger songs. So this rocks. This is a rocker. It's still got the P90 in the neck. I've changed the cover of that to white. I had to buy a new pickguard scratch plate. But it's great. Just a beautiful guitar. No thick finish on it. It's a bargain basement Gibson rocker. 2019 Gibson Les Paul Special Tribute DC. Next up. So behind me is a pile of hard cases, which are normally kept in a cupboard over there. So does the hard cases mean that these are the more expensive guitars? Not necessarily. What I tend to do is I tend to rotate my guitar collection if I'm making a video and I need a specific guitar for it, or if I just fancy changing strings, cleaning a guitar, just fancy playing something different. What I'll do is I'll take something out of the cupboard and put a guitar in that case and put it back in there. I don't have enough room for a hard case for every guitar that I own. So every time I show you a guitar, that pile of hard cases will get lower. And then we'll go on to the final part, part 3. I think I've got 3 guitars up there on the top of a cupboard, which there's an acoustic there as well. I don't think I've used my acoustic in about 5 years. I won't bother showing you that. I'm going to do a video about my acoustic because I haven't even taken it out of the case in 5 years. I'm not even sure it worked. It's quite a nice acoustic guitar. So anyway, part 2, this is part 2 of the video. Let's look at guitar 1 of part 2. This rather handsome looking specimen, the guitar I mean, is a Greco Zematis from 2004. Now I believe this to be, sorry about the noise there, I believe this to be a GZ2600 IF inlay front. This is a beautiful guitar, beautiful guitar. I think my main mic has changed. This used to be my main mics. I bought this off him. I think he's changed the pickups, but it sounds great. It has a ebony fingerboard, 24 frets, which, you know, I'm not a huge fan of because I've said in other videos that's an extra, you know, that's an extra 12 wrong notes I've got access to. So, and the other thing, I said this in a recent video as well on a Greco Zematis. Not only do you get position markers on 12, you get them on 11 and 13. Very confusing, you know. I'll be doing a Chuck Berry solo in E flat as the rest of the band are going and sound very good. So that's a made in Japan Greco Zematis GZ2600 IF, but you may need to fact check me on that. Next up is a well recognisable guitar. This is the Fender Mexico Kurt Cobain Jaguar. What a great guitar this is. I made a video on this about how this is just a great all-round guitar. Not just for Nirvana fans, but it's a really good sounding, really good playing. Just a great all-round guitar and a fantastic example of a hot-rodded short scale guitar. I don't know if the tremolo bar in at the moment. It's lovely. Every sound on it is great. It just plays great. I've never engaged the rhythm circuit. I'm a lead guitarist, not a rhythm guitarist. The only problem with this, and I said it in my video, was these controls are very close together. As well. If you've got big fat fingers trying to change them. So that's when's it from? 2023 I think. Fender Kurt Cobain Jaguar, made in Mexico. Very nice guitar. Next up is another Fender. It's funny, I think I have more Fenders now than Gibsons and Grecos. I used to have tons of Greco guitars. Now I have sold a lot of guitars over the last 12 months for various reasons. I mean, I don't need all these guitars. If I make a video on a guitar, like I made a video on a Greco EGF 850, and a chap contacted me and says, would you sell that? And like, everything's for sale. You know, it's just, if you want to buy something, just get in touch. And you know, it's probably for sale. Apart from the Stevie Caster, the black one, the original one. More on the blonde one later. You know, I buy guitars to play them for a while, sell them, buy other guitars to play. It's as simple as that. So this is a Fender Richie Kotzen Telecaster. This is a magnificent beast. Magnificent beast. It has a chunky neck. This is a huge neck on it. I had, until earlier on this year, a Gibson 57 Custom Shop Junior. Nice guitar, which I no longer have. The neck on the Custom Shop Junior of 57 was slightly bigger than this, but not a lot. This is beefy, but strangely, it's comfortable. It's just a comfortable guitar to play in. It's rocking, absolutely rocking guitar. Now again, these are expensive guitars. I think these how much are these new? Certainly 2,000, maybe over £2,000 are made. Made by Fujigen, maybe they're made in Japan anyway. Fender Japan, they're a Fender Japan exclusive as far as I know. They are expensive, and the thing is, like, when you buy this, you don't even get a soft case. Like, was this 20? I think it was maybe 2,200. I did like a few trades and stuff like that. But for £2,200, however much these are these days, this is what you get. You get nothing else. You don't get a case. You don't get a gig bag. So I need to do another video on this, like maybe how do I feel about it 3 years later, because I think I got this for my birthday 3 years ago. But I mean, I could just make a short video and say, how do I feel about it 3 years later? I love it. It's a great guitar. I'll make a longer video though. Next up is another handsome beast. The Handsome Beast. If you're aware of the work of the Handsome Beast, they sound better than they look. So this is a Gibson. This is just a Gibson factory line. It is an Artist Series Pete Townshend 76 Deluxe. Now they did like a custom shop version of this, which are unbelievable. I think they're about 10,000 quid or something like that. Very limited run, but they did like a factory run. They just took some of their Les Paul Deluxes off the line. I can't remember, is this maybe 2015 or 20? I mean, it doesn't have the 2015 horrible nut and stuff like that, but it's from maybe 2013, 2015. They did 150, just took 150 Deluxes off the line and routed them for a DiMarzio Super Distortion. Put this switch in as well. Now when I got this about 3 or 4 years ago, it had a bare knuckle P90 in the bridge, which sounded great. But I ended up putting that on a guitar, and I wanted to get this kind of back to stock. And strangely, in a Greco gold top I had was this 1976 Gibson Mini Humbucker. I don't know why somebody had put like a 1976 Gibson Mini Humbucker on its own is worth a decent amount of money. So this was in a Greco, so I took this out of the Greco and put it in here. So this is a 76 Deluxe reissue of Pete Townshend's guitar, but with an original Gibson 76 Mini Humbucker. It's a great guitar. Don't really play it that much. It's got some checking on it as well. So again, with the Mini Humbuckers, like the 74 SG Special I have, it's quite a bitey tone. I don't think I've ever done a proper, in-depth video with this. I think because with 3 pickups and then this mini switch as well, I always thought it would take me like a day and a half to show you all the sounds of this this Gibson Artist Series Pete Townshend 76 Les Paul Deluxe. And there it is there. It's nice, I've got to say. Next up is, I think, the only Greco Les Paul that I have left. I'm sure in my last video there'll be about 4 or 5, but like I said, people get in touch, they say, would you sell that? And I only need a couple of guitars. I don't need all these guitars. I just happen to have them. If I need to pay bills, you have to sell guitars. That's how it goes, At various times in my life, I've been down to one guitar because I had stuff to pay. It's that simple. Guitars come and go, and this is the only Greco Les Paul which I currently have left. This is 1983 EG 5985, I think. It's got what are the pickups are in it? Can't remember. Double trick? No, can't remember. Nice guitar. Now this is one that, again, I got for a decent price. I imported it from Japan. I think I imported all my Greco guitars. This has had a Fender trem on it or something like that. It's had it all routed out in the back. Why would you put a Fender trem on a Greco Les Paul? But it's a great sounding guitar. I've used this one at a lot of gigs as well. This is one if I was doing like covers gigs in my local bar, just doing like 2 sets of sets, S-E-T-S, not S-E-X, 2 sets of like classic rock, Kiss and Cheap Trick and stuff like that, just in a local bar. I would take this guitar because it's pretty beat up anyway. Nice. So that is a 1983 Greco EG 5985, I believe, is the model number. Next up. Next up is a guitar, which probably explains why I have so many less guitars than I did last year. I traded 9 guitars for this. Basically, I'd run out of room for guitars. You know, I'm in very, very lucky position, and you know, and I know that I ended up with too many guitars with not enough room, and I needed to get rid of a lot of stuff. And I thought I could maybe just trade a few guitars for something which is worth a bit more money. If you look up Dale Wilson Fender Master Built Telecasters, you'll get an idea of how much these Master Built Fender guitars cost. Now this was second hand. I believe it was built for the NAMM show a couple of years ago. Built specific for that, but he did not get it finished in time to get delivered to the NAMM show. So it's featured in a Peach Guitars video. They were in the shop speaking to Dale Wilson, and he showed them this guitar. So this is an unbelievably beautiful guitar. It's like based on a 64 Telecaster with binding flame top. It's like a Firego. It's like a, what do you call them? Who made the Firego 12 strings? Rickenbacker. It's like a Rickenbacker Firego. Beautiful sounding guitar, and you know, an expensive guitar. Dale Wilson Master Built. I haven't really played this a lot. I've not taken it out of the house. When I did my demonstration video, I mean, this is a great playing, great sounding, very expensive guitar. I got my friend Young Alfie down to play it, because he did this guitar more justice than I ever could. I mean, I think I own a guitar which is out with my own abilities, but nonetheless, it's a nice guitar, and it will get sold at some point, and it will finance a holiday for me and my wife to go away to, I don't know, Caribbean for a couple of weeks. Guitars come and go. If you need to get someone, sell a guitar. Next up, another Greco. I think this is the only Greco Strat I own. This is from 1979. Another one that I got for a really good price, because it was absolutely covered in stickers, totally trashed. All the pickups were broken, didn't work. This is a SE 800 Jive, which my camera focusing, which would have came with, it's like a Jeff Beck model basically. I had mini switches. I still got the original pick guard, but all the pickups were broken, goosed, as we say around these parts. I've had this refretted. This is probably my favourite neck shape on any Stratocaster I've ever had. It's a great playing, great sounding guitar. I have put Wilkinson hot pickups front and middle, and I think that's a Fender noiseless Strat pickup. Great playing guitar. You should have seen the amount of cigarette smoke I had to clean off this. It was absolutely disgusting. But it's great now, it's clean, refretted, sounds good. 1979 Greco SE 800 Jive. Next up is another melody maker. I think this is 61 or 62. Still has the original pickups. I think the previous owner says he'd had these rewound. A replacement bridge as well, so it actually intonates properly. Original frets, so quite flat. I think these are original tuners as well. Made in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Unlike my Epiphone, which was, according to the commenter, a new low in Epiphones, this was it's a Gibson. Made on exactly the same line by the same people from the same parts as that Epiphone Olympic was. It's great. I've used this, I took it to rehearsal, not used it at a gig. My camera focusing. Not used it at a gig. I thought the pickups would be too thin sounding and maybe feedbacky, if that's a word. But I took it down to a rehearsal room and just jammed by myself, just playing myself. And it sounded great, it didn't feed back. I was playing like Crocus and Trust songs, and it sounded good with original pickups. Like I say, the person who sold me it said it had the pickups rewound to be a bit hotter. It sounds great. So that's, I believe, a 61 Gibson double cut melody maker. Next up is the last one that was in the hard case. This is a 1979 from our friends at Gibson. They may not be your friend. Has these tuners on it. A Gibson Les Paul Standard in wine red. What a beautiful looking guitar. With the original T-tops. Now I can't remember, I did a video on this recently. It's either it's a tailpiece. Tailpiece has been changed. I think everything else may be original. I'm not sure about the tone controls, the tone knobs. It's a replacement pickguard. Didn't come to me with a pickguard on. Original frets, very low flat frets. Great sounding guitar, these T-tops. It's almost in tune as well. Almost in tune, so that is a 1979 wine red Gibson Les Paul Standard from the Norland era. It's a great guitar. Please do not be scared of getting a Norland era guitar. They are cheaper than a 50s Gibson, that's for sure. And great guitars nonetheless. So as you get, 1979 Gibson Les Paul Standard in wine red. So that's the last one in the hard cases. I'll need to take a break here. And there's, I think, three guitars I need to get step ladders and go and get them off the top of a wardrobe. Back in a bit. So there was only 2 guitars on top of the wardrobe. These are guitars which I haven't played in a long time. And ironically enough, they're probably 2 guitars which are maybe 2 of the most important guitars in my history. And it's purely by accident. I'm just doing this video and these were the last 2 guitars. So if you're still here, if you'll indulge me for a couple of minutes, I'll give you a very brief story of what these last 2 guitars are and why they are sort of significant in my guitar history. So the first one is lying over here. This is a E-series Fender Japan Stratocaster, which a previous owner, I bought this second hand for, oh no, the bleeding selector tip, someone fell off when I brought it in. Selector tip's missing. I bought this, I'm sure, for £140 or £150 in 1994 or 5. Now at that point in time, I'd been working since 1984, I had a full-time job, and I had quite a nice guitar collection. I had like a 76 Firebird, a 72 Deluxe, 1970 SG. I had quite a few Gibson guitars. I'd owned Japanese Charvel guitars and stuff. And I decided to pack my job in and go to college to learn how to restore violins. I mean, that's another long story. Suffice to say, I still work in the same job. I went back after my 3-year college course, but my point is, to finance my college course, I sold all the guitars that I had, sold my whole guitar collection, apart from this. So at one point, probably when did I go to college? 95? At one point, maybe 1996, this was the only guitar I owned. So I'd sold all the good stuff, and I owned a Strat, which cost me 140, 150 quid. I recorded a whole album with this, like a proper album that came out on a record label. A chickweed album. I recorded most of the rhythm guitar tracks with this. I used a 68 Les Paul that belonged to the studio for the lead tracks, but all the rhythm tracks were recorded on this, just with the stock pickups as well. But since then I've put I think this is a bare knuckle Irish Tour pickup, which sounds great. It comes with the System 1 trem, which has never worked since I got it. All the bits were missing, so it's hard-tailed, and of course I have a North Carolina, the Rockingham Speedway. I went to Rockingham Speedway, Fred and I went to Rockingham Speedway last year, or this year, can't remember, just to see what it was like. So there you go, so it's an E-series, I think 1986, is it an E6? E6 Fender Japan Stratocaster, which just sits on the top of a wardrobe, but this would be one that I'd be sad to sell this, because it represents a particular period in my guitar playing life where this was the only guitar. And when I only had this, my friend gave me the black Stevie Caster. So I owned 2 guitars at that point in time, both Fuji Gen made, a Fender Strat and a Squier Telecaster. So that's that guitar. Now the very last guitar that I'm showing you today, I'm not going to show you the acoustic because it's stuck up there behind a bunch of stuff. So the other one is sitting over there, I'll just go and get it. Now, as I say, this is just by accident. These, please do focus. Bloody camera never focuses. This is just by accident. I'm kind of going through these very quickly. Excuse my Scottish accent. Excitedly talking all the way through this. But this is just an accident. These were the 2 guitars which have just been up there, just in soft cases. I haven't played either of them, and I haven't played the Strat in maybe a year. I haven't played this in at least 6 months. When I got my first proper electric guitar, previous to that I'd had like a no-name, I'd had a guitar which my mum bought out of her John England catalogue, which was just awful, you know, an awful SG shaped thing. And then I got a no-name natural colour Stratocaster. But the first proper guitar I got, and I remember I got it, my dad came with me, and I got it in Gordon Simpson's, I think, in Edinburgh. And it was this. I don't know if it's this exact guitar, but it was this model, an Azumi Victory series. It's like a Super Strat. So this is from 1983. I would probably got the one I got, 83, 84 or something like that. And it was the first guitar which played really well, and it had humbuckers. It looked cool. So it's just like plain mahogany. It's a very plain guitar made in Japan. I don't know who made these. And I sold it maybe after a couple of years when I upgraded to an MJ series BC Rich, and I think I traded this in. But about 2 years ago, on eBay, I mean, I was always looking for another one of these. I think it maybe cost 130 quid new in 1983 or something like that, maybe a wee bit more. Not a particularly popular brand, the old Azumi. Maybe 130 quid, but a couple of years ago I saw one on eBay and it was 300 quid. I was like, man. And it was obviously needed a refret. And I thought about it for ages. I thought, could I buy back my memories? I thought, why not? So I spent 300 quid buying this, and then I've spent £200 getting it fixed up, getting it refretted and set up and stuff like that. So I'm 500 quid into a guitar, which is probably worth, genuinely worth now about, I don't know, 200 quid at the most. But now it's been fixed up and it plays well. It doesn't stay in tune. So I've taken the trim off. But now it's fixed up, plays well, it sounds great, and it takes me straight back to my teenage bedroom years of my mum and dad's, learning things like, I'm not even sure that's how you play it, and just learning like UFO songs and stuff. This £500 has transported me back to my long-haired teenage years, and that's money well spent, folks. It's money well spent. So that is my guitar collection in December 2024. Quite a lot of changes from last year, as I said in various parts of this video. I buy guitars, play them, sell them, buy other guitars. So if you've stuck to the end, I do appreciate it. This is a long video. I have been speaking very quickly because I'm having to get this done between the work going on upstairs and my family will be home soon from work and college. This is my house that I make these videos in. This isn't a professional recording studio. I have to work around family, my own job, and the job that's going on upstairs. As ever, folks, it's a privilege and a pleasure bringing you content on Dunsy's Guitar World. Cheers for now.